I just wanted to throw it up on here anyways before I record tomorrow's episode. But just got back in from the great state of Montana from the Jesse Stetson Ranch. I guess it'd be his dad's ranch, Jay Stetson Ranch. Stetson Ranches. They're in Fromberg, Montana. And let me tell you what, these are some of the best people I've ever met in my life. Had a great time. Montucky Wedding Madness, I'm going to call this deal. Best people you'll ever meet. Had a great time. Big time was had by all. Beautiful place. They're just outside of Billings. And, man, just all consumed, if you can believe that. I think at one point a car got hit by a stray bottle rocket, but shit, it's America Day. Shit happens. So before we get all into to the events of the weekend, got some sponsors to tell you about. So first and foremost, let me tell you about Loma Livestock. My good buddy George Raptopoulos. You know him, you love him. Got the best goddamn sale barn in the United States. Probably all of North America. I don't know anything about Canadian or Mexican sale barns, but I bet you they don't hold a candle to Loma Livestock, because George is doing it up right over there. Got a sale coming up this Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, starting with cows and singles, followed by feeders at 11. If you can't make it over to the sale, don't you worry about it. Go over to dvauction.com and click on the Loma Livestock tab. You can watch the sale right there, and you can also bid, and it's a win-win for everybody. Go check them out, lomalivestock.com, and if you're in the area, go check out a sale. Let them know that you heard about them on the Burning Daylight podcast. And you got any other questions for them, give them a holler, 970-858-9988. Next up, new sponsor to the show. Just talked about them. Stetson Ranches there in Fromberg, Montana. These guys, we've talked about building a legacy ranch, a multi-generational ranch for one that's sustainable for years to come. And that's what these guys are doing. We got Jay and Tina Stetson, the patriarch and matriarch of the family, as well as Jesse, you know him and love him, and his sister Krista, and they are building what they hope to be a ranch that's sustainable and profitable for years to come. Jay, I spoke with him pretty extensively about his involved in in the day-to-day operations, and at least give them a taste of what ranch life is all about, what it means to them. And if it comes in the future that they would like to continue that tradition, they already know what's going on because they've lived it and they've worked it. They have got an excellent set of registered Angus cows. They're feeding them out. They're taking them to a USDA inspected plant, and they're shipping it out to you. Are getting the whole animal, ribeye, roasts, tenderloin, brisket, ground beef, stew meat, all that, and you're getting it for about the price of ground beef that you'd pay in the grocery store. And you know what's even better? You know where that animal comes from. When you get a package of hamburger, that's coming from one animal. You buy a package of ground beef in the grocery store, chances are there's been about 500-600 animals that contributed to that one pound package of hamburger. Not at Stetson Ranches. That's one animal. They fed that animal every day. Right now, Jesse's daughters are feeding them, and it's top quality beef. They're registered Angus, great genetics, eye-sized cows. They're no joke. And among all that, they've got a top of the line horse breeding program with bloodlines going back to the foundation, quarter horse lines. And these aren't just like 8-9 generations back. These are foundation bloodlines on the set of papers. beautiful brood mares, some really, really nice colts coming out of them, and Tina she's poured her heart and soul into that deal. And also, they got some stuff that a lot of people might not agree with and they might not understand, but they're growing some industrial hemp because they're ahead of the game. That's where the market's headed, and they're looking to capture that. And at the same time, they're looking to preserve the legacy and the culture of Western ranching, cowboy lifestyle, and just what it means to be a goddamn American. So, check them out, stetsonranches.com. I think they're revamping their website right now, but if you got any questions, you can get a hold of Jesse at Jesse Stetson on Instagram, Jesse Stetson on Facebook. There's one S in the Jesse. Stetson like the hats because fucking America, right? And good friends of mine. Looking forward to doing a lot more stuff with them in the future. Next up, we got Nick Allen Lute. He is a rawhide braider extraordinaire, living in Dighton, Kansas right now. And his specialty is braided rawhide Hondas, but he's also working on doing some Bozels in the near future. He is all self-taught on the rawhide braiding, and he's got a real knack for it. His Hondas are the best I've had. They're tougher than hell. They add some speed and weight to your rope. And if you happen to break one, which you won't ever, but if hell freezes over and you break one, just send it on back. He'll build you a new one, because he's a good guy like that. You can find him on Facebook, Nick Allen Lute, or at Will Cowboy for Food on Instagram. And finally, we got Mr. Matt Wilson with his handmade bridle bits. You saw my Vaquero spurring down the T-Rex bit. It's awesome. My horse is out of Silver Lake, Oregon. Great guy, hilarious character, really good musician, and his bridle bits are top notch. And you ain't gonna break the bank with him either. He's a working cowboy himself, so he knows what that means, and he builds you a quality product that you don't gotta sell your middle child for, even though you might want to. You can find him on Instagram at Wampus Cat Sound, and have him build you something up real nice. So all those folks, let them know you found it you heard about them on Burning Daylight, and you know what? They're helping me out a lot, and small business, they make the country go around, and I'm sure happy that they're supporting me. So thanks to all those sponsors along the livestock, Stetson Ranches, Nick Allen Lute, and Matt Wilson for supporting the show. I dearly appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get back into this weekend's antics. We flew in the middle of the Rona. It was weird, man. So we flew out of Reno into San Francisco because I bought the cheapest flight I could find on short notice on Priceline, I believe. And yeah, so we flew from Reno into San Francisco. You could almost smell the sweet aroma of human feces from the tarmac. San Francisco, really a cool city that, from what I understand, has just gone to shit. But there's a lot of cool history in there. But we didn't get to see any of that. We just we had a layover in San Francisco. Then we flew to Denver, had another layover, about a 3-hour layover, and then we finally landed in Billings. It was about 12 hours of travel time all told. And Mr. Jesse picked us up at the airport. At the mask mandate pretty well everywhere, it seems like. And I refused to. There's a little bit of one of the flight attendants on I guess it was the first flight there in Reno. Kind of tried to raise a stink, but nobody really had any issue with it. But I thought there'd be more people out there that were kind of like me and just say, fuck it, I ain't wearing a mask. But I think I saw one other person that that didn't wear a mask in the whole day in 4 airports that I was in, and that is kind of weird, really, really weird. Even my wife, she didn't wear a mask. She wore a bandana, and she thought she was pretty cool playing bank robber. Pew 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 pew. But she, no, it was just weird. I kind of disappointing to see people just. I don't know if they're going along because they're told to, or if they don't want the hassle. But and maybe I'm just kind of an asshole, and maybe I'm weird. I don't know, but I have a real issue when I don't know. I never, I guess this whole weekend, the only time I wore a mask was when I had to go by the Apple store to see if they could fix something on my computer, and they wouldn't let me in without it, and I kind of needed to see what the damage was, so I guess I bent the knee or whatever, and I wore a mask into the Apple store in Reno today, but nothing was said on any flight today, and oh, it's just weird. I got to talk to a lot of people. Jesse's got a pretty big family, and he's got even more friends, it seems like. And how the hell any of the Stetson clan made any time for me and Roe? I don't know. They had plenty of shit on their plate, and they still managed to make us feel welcome. And it was just a really, really good weekend. We got in Wednesday night. We just kind of hung around and helped set up for the wedding on Thursday. Friday was the wedding. The groomsmen and Jesse were all getting ready for pictures and whatnot, and me and Ro were kind of just taking a nap because we'd partied pretty hard. So heard a little bit of a commotion. I figured I better go out and see if they need my help or anything. If they need me to talk into a microphone or what, because other than that, I'm basically useless. But Jesse just got off the phone with his doctor, and he had talked about it here before, but he had a pretty rare type of blood cancer that he's been fighting for the past couple of years, and he got the call from his doctor that he was 100% cancer-free, and it was just fucking awesome. It couldn't have been better. On his way to breast cancer, so it kind of hit me pretty hard. I was kind of over the moon for the guy because he's sure enough just a good fella, and it couldn't have happened at a better time, and it couldn't have happened to a better guy. And I just I got me a little bit of wiki here, and cheers, Jesse, congratulations. Seriously, it couldn't have happened to a better fella. And the crazy thing is he didn't do a single treatment of chemo. He's, a year older than me, 30, I guess I'll be 35 this year. So he's 36 years old, and he decided, no, I'm not doing the chemo. He's basically said, I don't got time to do chemo. I'm trying to help run this ranch, help make it be sustainable, and to do that, you gotta fucking work. There's shit to do. He's irrigating. He's taking care of cows. He's putting up hay, and among every other thing, he's doing some maintenance on equipment and just all the shit that having cancer. And he decided I'm not gonna do chemo, and so he changed his diet, cut out all the sugar. Kind of went all natural, and the kicker of it was he was on RSO, which, if you're not a pothead, or even if you are a pothead, you may not know about it, but I guess it's a THC paste, and it's like 99.9% THC, or 99% is what he told me, so maybe a little hyperbole there, but 99% THC paste that he was just shooting down his neck a couple times a day. And man, if that isn't, you can call it anecdotal evidence or whatever, but he knows a guy who had stage 4 throat cancer out of nowhere, same type of deal, and he went on the RSO treatment and it cleared it right up, and he's been cancer free. Jesse's now cancer free, and it's all because of the devil's lettuce, the marijuana, and it's just really in there. Just awesome young ladies. They're, he's gonna have his hands full because the fellas are gonna come knocking if they haven't already, and they're just beautiful young ladies, hardworking, polite. They're raised right, and I couldn't be happier for that family and Jesse in particular. He got to marry just a really beautiful young lady that he's over the moon for, and it was a cool weekend, great place. You couldn't have picked a better scenic background, and he had the reception in this old barn. It's kind of the centerpiece of their ranch. It was built in like 1902, and when they finally got it built, the guy that owned the place at the time was kind of a big deal, and he threw a big old party that John D. Rockefeller himself attended. They had an orchestra playing on the stage in the loft, and it was just, man, it was kind of like a fairy tale deal, and I was honored, and it was a privilege to be a part of it. I couldn't have had a better time. I got to meet Mr. Sam McHugh. The guy's even more talented in person than he is on the podcast. I got to watch him play around a campfire, just jamming. We had a few too many White Claws and several assorted beverages, but the guy can really play his ass off. He sang a lot of his personal songs that he wrote. Did a lot of really excellent covers, and it was just fuck around. It was a good time. I don't know how much sleep I got, but man, it was worth it. And it was just really cool getting to talk to the Stetsons and their family and their friends, and you can build yourself up on an interview or whatnot, and then you get to see somebody in action, and it's a whole different story. But what you see is what you get with Mr. Jesse Stetson and his whole family, for that matter. They're just down to earth, hardworking, America loving folks. They had a Chevy flatbed, long bed pickup, stacked full of fireworks that we set off, and it was probably close to an hour of just straight fireworks. We didn't go into town for a display. They had a little family reunion. 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I don't know exactly how long it was, but just constant fireworks, and they weren't just snakes and sparklers. It was the good shit. And like I said, there may have been a stray bottle rocket that hit a passing car. Completely unintentional, I'm sure. Hilarious nonetheless. And it was a cool time, and I can't wait to go back and visit. It was pretty amazing. And you talk to these folks, and you can tell they poured their heart and soul into this deal. And you talk to Jay, who is, he makes Tom Selleck look like a little bitch. His mustache is just it's just the definition of stern but fair. And he's a pretty no nonsense guy, but he knows how to get down when the time is right. And you listen to him talk about how the life that we live out here in the West, or and even down in the South, or just the rural ranching culture, cowboy lifestyle. Growing food to feed the rest of the world, and not getting a whole lot of thanks for it, and not getting the I guess luxury of working 9 to 5 and 5 days a week. I can't complain too much that myself. I work about 5 days a week at my job, but they. We don't have the luxury of snow days or a whole lot of vacation time. We take care of animals, we take care of crops, and you don't get a day off because those animals don't take a day off. They still got to eat every day. They still got to have clean water every day. They can get sick any day of the week. It doesn't matter to them, and you gotta know that going into it, and they do, and they take pride in their work. They and it shows with the quality of the products they have. I got to see the steers that they're feeding out that they're going to be sold on a direct to consumer basis, and they're good quality steers. They're getting really high quality feed, and Jesse's daughters are doing the feeding, or even registered cattle, selling them in the market that we have set up, and they have the mindset that I'm not going to go out like that. I'm not going to play this market. I'm going to the big barons. Charlie Goodnight, for example, he was one of the first cattle barons. There wasn't a market for that. That market wasn't really there, and they made their own market, and that's how they made their fortune. And decided about the podcast, and he said, well, you created your audience because of you wanted to. You're talking about the stuff that you wanted to hear about, and said that don't play the market as it is. Make your own. And it's I guess it's the entrepreneurial spirit that we have, or whatever you want to call it. But it was really cool talking with folks that they don't want to settle. They don't want 2 years where you go to college, you run up a bunch of debt, and then you're just trying to pay that down the rest of your life, and at the end of the day, you don't have really anything. Well, when you're dead and gone, there's nothing really left. There's really nothing left for a legacy, and they're trying to build something that will last for generations to come, and that's kind of something I've thought long and hard at on my end as well. And I there's nothing more in this world that I love aside from my wife and family, but there's nothing more in this life that I love than this way of life that we live, the ranching, the cowboy culture, just the American life. And I use the word fortune kind of loosely, but to leave a legacy that people will remember, and that my kids and their kids can not only inherit but build on, and expand and make their own. I mean, that's my version, and it kind of lit a fire under my ass to do a little bit more. And but it also gave me people that respond to it and enjoy what I do and see the importance in it, I guess. And if there is probably better than I do, but they're not telling you anything real. To experience all that, it was a true honor. And I bullshit. Unless you're listening to it, I could use the views, but not from the news hell, we saw a black bear on the way up to Red Lodge, Montana with Sam and his wife and Jesse's new wife, Emma. They kind of changed my mind a little bit on Montana. I was kind of ruined on Montana from living up in northern Montana for a winter, which I guess that's kind of my own fault. If you're gonna try to move up to Montana, probably better not do it in the winter. Just like if you're gonna invade Russia, probably not do it in the winter. It's gonna be miserable. But it was it's good to get outside of your normal everyday life and see some new country and meet some new people and have good conversation, have a good meal and a few drinks, and just kind of check out from your everyday world for a little while and enjoy the moment. So I'm very thankful for it. I feel even though I'm running on not a whole lot of sleep, I'm feeling pretty rejuvenated. A bunch of more bullshit into a microphone. So and of course post some shitty memes that people get butthurt over. But hey, so Kanye Boswell, he was asking me about if I'm coming to Nebraska next, and it just so happened, give him a ring and let him know that you'd like to attend their wedding. Other events in mind. I won't spill the beans too hard yet, but we got a few things in the works, and it's gonna be fun. So stay tuned for that. And thanks again for. I don't think it's coincidental. And it seems like we're really starting to catch some momentum and content that we can. We'll put out the best offensive shit posts out there. Shake hands and drink a beer together, and it'll be a good old time. And I sure do appreciate y'all, and hope you keep coming back. So thanks again to my sponsors, and thanks again to you guys for tuning in on a consistent basis. And be safe out there and move your ass.